today, right here, right now. This is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice. And you're going to discover exactly how right here, right now on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast.
episode 101. Yeah, Mikey Mike.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Ron Saharian, co-founder of Profit First Professionals.
And I'm Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First, and the guy also cranking up the audio. You know, Ron, we had some problems. We had some problems with our machine today, and I'll tell you, Christina did a good job getting us 90% of the way there.
You did a good job, too.
Yeah, it was the last hour down to the wire.
Right.
I hope this is recording. And you, my friends, you're listening to GMAP. That stands for Grow My Accounting Practice. This is a show where we explore every element of growing your accounting or bookkeeping practice, the step-by-step how to do it. And listen, you may say, well, how do you do this? How do you guys do this amazing stuff of helping me grow my accounting practice over a podcast? By the formula of three. First of all, we interview a great guest, and it's always an amazing guest. Today, you're going to be blown away just by the concept alone. Second, we do the psychology of the sale. Ron tells you how to get inside people's minds in a good way to serve them. And then, of course, with the GMAP Now task, the one task that if you do it at the end of this episode, you will grow your practice. No excuse not to do it. And if you don't do it, we know who you are because you're not growing.
Exactly. And you can find all of our episodes on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, growmyaccountingpractice.com, and Google Play.
Yeah. Be sure to download it. And why not binge a little bit, my friends? Why not just crank it up?
I was binging on the other podcast that we run, Profit First Professionals podcast. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this was funny. So you were telling me there was one listener, maybe she's listening or he's listening right now, that said, you know, when you guys do that Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, getting jacked up, and all, like, I can't stand that.
Right.
And I'm saying, like, okay, so you can't stand it, so what do? Well, I skip it. Okay, you've skipped 101 tasks that could grow your business. You know, I think sometimes you got to swallow that pill. And I get it. Not everyone's Eye of the Tiger likes to get pumped up, but you got to swallow that pill, Ron.
Yeah, no, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid. I know.
Of course.
I'm preaching to the choir.
You are.
Okay. Well, first, let me tell you about who's coming on our show in a little bit, and then I want to thank our corporate partners to make this show a reality. His name's Shane Lukas. If you don't know that name, well, you know this challenge, and he's the guy with the solution. You ever wonder why your employees aren't as passionate about your business as you are? It's because you are the business owner and they're not. But Shane explains that there's a way to make them elevate their passion, to be as game in, game on as you are. So we're going to explore that in just a minute. But first, Ron, our corporate partners, man.
Absolutely.
Who do we got?
Thank you, Funbox.
Oh, you want a sound effect? You gave me a pause.
Oh my.
Fundera.
Oh my.
Nextiva. Receipt Bank.
Oh my.
Zero.
I need to get some more sound.
And Net Payroll. And big announcements coming up with our partnership with Receipt Bank. Going to be announcing a couple of big opportunities for all you listeners out there.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah,
especially at Scaling New Heights. Hopefully to see you guys there.
Yeah, or actually, by the time this broadcast, which is the June 22nd date, I think it's over.
Oh.
So we hope we saw you.
Well, I hope you guys loved the big announcement.
Yeah, I hope you saw you out there. Here's the deal. I want to talk about Net Payroll just real quick. Net Payroll is our payroll company. We just added 3 people in the last week. 3. They're interns. By the way, you know, one way to grow your business is with part-time employees, people who are just looking for part-time work. It's a massive savings, but also part-timers, man, they drive the business forward. They get stuff done, it seems, that takes normally 8 hours in 4 hours. But they also want that work-life balance. Erin's a great example of that. She's going home to be with her baby right now. Well, we brought on interns, and I'll tell you, these interns are carrying an amazing...
Jackson, he started just the other week. Well, for you listeners, about a couple months ago.
Yeah.
But he is awesome, and he knows the technology, and now he's doing our video edits.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He almost died today.
I know.
I couldn't believe that. Like, he literally lost all his color in his face, and we said, what happened? He's like, well, I didn't eat any breakfast, and I started seeing light. So he laid down on the couch, and within 10 minutes... with a sugary treat, which was like Cliff Bar.
Yeah.
He was back in action, but that was a little bit weird.
You were scared.
I got nervous.
I was ready to get another intern.
All right. And we would never do that, Jackson, if you're listening. All right. Let's get to our guest of the hour. His name's Shane Lukas, and Let me give you a couple of details about him. First of all, he started in 1998. He's been part of AVN, and in 2007 became the managing director there. He helps accountants build a stronger, more successful, and profitable practice, and it helps them deliver much greater value to business owners. I mean, that's what you need to do. And this is the guy who teaches it. He's a business coach for accountants and bookkeepers. But he does more than that. He has the Amazon #1 bestseller. Ron, I aspire in my life to become a #1 bestseller. I'm jealous. Amazon #1 bestseller with the book, What's New for Accountants? How to Turn the Biggest Threat Facing the Profession into Your Biggest Opportunity. Yeah, that sounds beautiful. So make sure you pick up his books. And next time you're out in England, this is the guy you want to see. Shane, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hello, thank you very much.
So, you say that, so what I hear you're saying, Shane, is that I can get my employees to have the same degree of passion in the business as I have. That's a big promise. I don't think I believe that. Is that really true?
It absolutely is. I'm living proof here, and we've replicated that same process amongst many accounting firms that we've worked with over the years. So yes, it's absolutely true. And importantly, you don't need to be bouncing off the rooftops full of energy, that kind of charismatic type of leader that lots of people kind of associate it with. I certainly wouldn't describe myself as that, nor would I describe myself as a natural born leader. This is just about simple stuff that works, and it's just following processes and systems. Ultimately, it's about just understanding yourself a little bit better first, though.
I think of the Anthony Robbins-esque type guy jumping up in front of the group and saying, "We can do this, company, everyone all in," the ultimate cheerleader. And you just said you don't have to be that person. Why is that true?
No, not at all. Well, I think as long as you are yourself, I think if you understand your values, you understand what it is that you're personally passionate about, and share that with the group of people around you. I mean, values are incredibly important, but I think before that, you need to understand, well, what's the bigger picture yourself? Are you just looking to line your pockets, ready for your retirement? If that's the case, and that's all it is, then maybe that's not going to inspire people to be as passionate about the business as you are. But actually, if you're out there to make a difference, which I find that most accountants genuinely have a desire to do that with the businesses that they work with, they don't necessarily have the skills and know how to do it, but actually if that's what they want to achieve, and also maybe help the wider community, which many accountants also do through the likes of B1G1 with Paul Dunn, I'm sure I don't need to perhaps go into detail on that, but as long as there is a greater passion and a greater cause in there, then I believe that you can inspire the team of people that you work with. Well, that's certainly stage one.
Okay, so I want to talk about that in just a second, but before that, you said about lining your pockets. I don't know if you were referring to the business owner or the employees.
Yeah, I think probably came across as a harsh statement, but in other words, if you're just running your accountancy practice, and I'm talking about the owner, just to maybe build up a retirement pot, and there's not the passion and enthusiasm to do much more than that, then yes, it doesn't matter how many bonuses you pay the team. I don't think that's ever going to be enough for them to, for that emotional connection to be there with your business.
Okay, I got you. But, I think my employees, they want to line their pockets. I mean, it's a job after all. If they were so passionate about something, I assume they would set out on their own to do it. Is that a misunderstanding that I have, that employees want to serve a higher purpose, to serve a passion beyond just making money for their lifestyle?
Yeah, if you think about the hierarchy of needs, and I don't know if that off the top of my head, but obviously you've got financial security as being a crucial element in there, isn't it?
It is,
and everybody needs to have that certain amount of income. But these days, with the modern day culture, if you like, the millennial type of mindset, people are just looking for a basic means to be able to work, if that makes sense. So in other words, to be able to live. Mm-hmm. So as long as they've got certain aspects covered, the default can often be to chase the money. But actually, if there's a bigger cause, a bigger aspiration, then I know that can overtake it by far, as long as those basic needs are being met, if that makes sense. And yeah, absolutely reward them occasionally with bonuses, but there are other rewards that people much more desire, like the feeling that they're making a difference. I certainly find that that's crucial.
And many of our listeners have been in practice for several years, maybe a decade, 2 decades. And a lot of them are just barely surviving. And they don't necessarily have the eye of the tiger or the overt passion. They're just trying to, keep their head above water. And, what advice would you give to those business owners that may have lost the overt passion, and it's just not displayed after being in business for so long?
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why they're just maybe treading water, if you like, is probably because they're not being able to embrace their team. And arguably this is a catch-22, isn't it? But many accountants fall in the trap of they'll recruit team members. I call it team, by the way. I personally just don't like the word staff.
Yeah.
So I refer to team. But they'll recruit people, but they're always double checking the work. The practice is partner centered, if you like. So the partner is double checking all of the work that's done. They're the ones seeing their clients. They're the ones meeting prospects. So in other words, there's always going to be a maximum amount of growth that they can have, isn't there, before they're burning out because they're not really embracing their team. What we do with accountants is actually just take them out of their office for a day and just spend quality time with them, really helping them tap into what it is that they're passionate about.
You mean let them out of their cages? Let them out of their cages and unlock the locks?
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes we just need to get out of the typical environment, don't we? If you're just trying to spend some quality time working on yourself before you work on your business, and you're trying to do that from your office, then you're probably getting interrupted by clients. You're probably getting interrupted by your team members. You're not getting that focus time. So we take people out of the practice and say, look, come and spend a day with us. In a group, it's not necessarily just one-on-one, but actually if you're in that kind of environment where everybody's exploring themselves through the process that we take them through, then people start to bounce off each other, they challenge each other, and we get to the bottom of what it is they're actually passionate about. And what we tend to find is just getting out of the office. It doesn't have to be with us, get out, find a picnic table next to a lake or something, and just spend some quality time thinking about what is it you're passionate about. And it's very simple, I think, to figure this one out. I went through this process myself many years ago, and I just explored all the things that I really love. And I must have listed about 30-odd items. I can remember this vividly. Listed about 30-odd items, and I'm thinking, I'm passionate about nothing in particular here. Just such a wide variety. Yeah. And then one of them, this was probably item 33, I finally wrote down coaching. And it seems daft now to think that it took me so long to get there. But then when I went back through that list, I was asterisking all of the different things that kind of came under this coaching umbrella. And I thought, well, that's absolutely what I'm passionate about. Some of the other things were challenging people, helping people get their lives back. All of those types of aspects were in there, but individual elements. And then coaching came into it. So for me, I'm just passionate about. In fact, the strapline that I give, if you like, is that I get a deep sense of fulfillment from coaching people into helping them make better lifestyle choices through growing their business.
So, okay, so I get your passion, and I envision you in this scenario. Shane, I know you're not the business owner, but our listeners are. We find our passion. I still don't get how that translates to the employee's passion. Do they have the same passion as you, or how does that work?
So first of all, as I said, you need to find your own passion. The next thing that you need to do is you need to find people, and maybe the people that you're working with right now aren't these people whose values are a close match to yours. Can I just talk for a few moments about values?
Oh, please.
Yeah, okay. I tend to draw a little diagram when I'm doing this. So if I could talk you through that diagram, it's very simple, but I think it just helps map this out. So if you draw a circle maybe towards the bottom center of your piece of paper, a small circle, maybe an inch wide or something like that, just big enough to fit the word you, as in Y-O-U in it.
Okay,
that
done.
That circle effectively represents you, and you are unique, of course, as an individual. And one of the things that makes you unique are your values and your beliefs. So that's you as an individual. Now, if you, from the 12 o'clock position, just draw an arrow going upwards, and extend that arrow up, if you like, so it maybe reaches towards the top of the page. Now, the people whose values and beliefs are a close match to yours, so in other words, right next to that circle on that line, they tend to become maybe your loved ones, your life partners, because they see the world just like you do. And maybe also your best friends. So what I tend to draw next to that circle there is a little love heart and smiley faces. They're, the people who you love and your best and closest friends.
Okay.
The people maybe mid-range across that line, they are maybe people that you talk to at the pub or maybe at the gym, and you get on with them okay, but their values are a little bit, they're maybe just a close match to yours, not an absolute near perfect match, if that makes sense. And so maybe you'll get on with them well, but you wouldn't necessarily want to bring them back for barbecues or for dinner. Do you know what I mean? The difference there?
Or Taylor ham, egg, and cheese, for God's sake.
Acquaintances.
Yeah, that's a New Jersey reference. I don't expect you to understand that. So, okay.
Well, the people whose values and beliefs are dissimilar to yours completely, so in other words, at that extreme end of that arrow, they're people you just can't connect with. They're not necessarily bad people, but you can't get into a dialogue with them, you can't connect with them, and you don't enjoy even trying, actually, because they see the world so differently. So why am I saying this? Well, that's in everyday life, isn't it? And we associate with the people whose values and beliefs closely match ours. So let's just go back to that circle now. If you extend a line from, say, the 9 o'clock position out.
Okay.
Now that line's going to represent the team of people that you employ. The people whose values and beliefs are most closest matched to yours, a near perfect match, so in other words, right up to that circle, I write BST there. These are people who will shed blood, sweat and tears for you because they believe what you believe, they connect with you, they get you.
Right.
Does that make sense? And the kind of ideas that they'll bring forward for the business are for the better of the business, for the good of the business, even if it's to the detriment of their own working environment. That's the kind of quality of ideas that they'll bring to you. The people who are maybe mid-range, they're what I would call your 9-to-5ers. Yeah, they'll be tools down at 5 o'clock and they'll leave. They neither detest or absolutely get where you're at. They'll just come in, they'll do a good job, and they'll go home. But the people at the far side of that, they're your terrorists. They're probably performing, they're probably doing a good job, but they don't get what you're about. And as soon as your back's turned, they're probably slagging you off, complaining about things, chuntering to probably your 9-to-5ers more than anything else.
Right. They're the cancer.
That starts to bring their morale down. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yep.
But the irony here is that you as the business owner end up spending most of your time with the terrorists, trying to bring them on, trying to get them around to your way of thinking.
We actually have a recording of, ironically, of Ron trying to work with those terrorist employees. Here it is. He's chasing them around, trying to help them and fix them. Yeah, so...
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
That's
yeah,
what it's like. I assume...
you're not doing that at the expense of spending quality time with the people who are incredibly loyal to you.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why then they start to question, well, why am I even working here? They start to move on. So you're forever getting team staff turnover, however you want to describe it. You're losing your best people and you're being left with the crap, if you'll excuse the term.
And Shane's absolutely right. We want to focus our attention on the A players. We want to focus our attention
but we
on...
don't. Well, I think we
do.
Maybe I know you do, but you're the exception. We focused on the squeaky wheel.
You can't.
And you can't. But it sounds like if you do, you get more squeaky wheels.
Yeah. Well, I used to do that all the time, and there's statistics out there that the A players are out producing the C and D players 3-1.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to reality, and since we're all human beings, we want to help, we want to coach, we want to help the struggling people. That's why we're charitable. But in business, you almost have to divorce yourself of that a little bit.
Well, how do you do it, Shane? How do we get focused on those BSTs?
Yeah, okay. So first of all, you need to ascertain what are your values. So we've looked at what are you passionate about, but the next thing then is what are your own values? Now, I know that many companies try and get all of their team involved in what are our company values. And for me, that just dilutes the message. You've got your terrorists in there, you've got your 9-to-5s in there, as well as your BSTs. So to try and find a compromise there, you start to really dilute what the values are about, and then they almost become meaningless. So for me, the practice owner, the majority shareholder, if it's a partnership, then already you start to dilute the message. But the best you can do as a partnership, you've got to come up with the values yourselves.
I like that.
And
I like that.
A great way of doing that, I find, is just to start thinking about, well, what are the, especially if you're a partnership, if you like each other as well, because some partnerships don't, do they? What are the qualities that you see in yourself that you really admire in others?
Or the other person.
Does that make sense?
Right. What do you see?
Well, let me make sure I understand what Shane's saying first. So what do I see of myself in others? Is that what you're saying, Shane?
So, how's the best way to describe this? I will probably think of, or encourage somebody to think of 3 people that either they work with who they really enjoy working with, and they would like to grow the biggest business in the world with those 3 other people.
Oh, the old
if
desert.
If they don't already employ them, then who else do they know or admire that they would love to? And just pick maybe 3 or 4 names out of a hat there. Well,
gotcha.
Not out of a hat, that sounds random, doesn't it? But and then once you've got those, start to write down what are the qualities that you really like in those people. Because if you like those qualities, then chances are they're kind of where your values are as well. Does that make sense?
That made sense. Thanks for clarifying that.
It does. And isn't it difficult to find that out? I mean, when we're interviewing folks, there's laws that would prevent us from asking some value questions, belief questions. And it's almost not in the first 90 days of most employment is the honeymoon period. So, how do we get to understanding those values and alignment?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I find during... I don't know how much time we've got here, but I would love to talk you through our recruitment process, because that is in itself quite a mammoth thing. But it's not infallible by any stretch, but it is incredibly successful.
Well, we want to hear. We have about 15 minutes, but we got to cover a lot of stuff. So can you summarize it in 30 seconds or something?
Yeah, well, in terms of the values, though, you've got to get them to tell stories. You can't just say you can't just name a value and say, "Do you share that?" by any stretch. But you've got to get them to tell stories. Now, I don't have a specific set of scripted questions because I just listen to them, and you get to know and get to understand. You can see the passion, and if you explore and dig deeper about examples of their working past, then you can start to get a feel. But I often find that you can't really tell if somebody's values are in line with yours until you start working with them.
Right. And we try to do our best with behavioral interviewing questions and storytelling. But still, it's an interview. So, I got you. The more filtering you can do and learning the background about somebody, the best. That's why references are very important, and people really don't check them either.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention references are crucial, and you're right. People, they almost assume that, well, because they've listed somebody as a reference, then chances are that it's going to be a good one. But I think it's always worth just following that up. Another thing I was going to say is, you can't necessarily know during the interview, it's a limited period of time, but you definitely know within a very short space of time of recruiting somebody, and it's even down to gut feel, because that's essentially what a lot of this is. And we make that decision almost straight away. If I feel that this person is not right, values are about feelings ultimately, aren't they? Mm-hmm. And then you have to make that decision. We go through a values chart, and I took this from, as I said, none of this is rocket science. I just read lots of books and implement the learning from it. So the values chart is from the Entrepreneur's Operating System, the People Analyzer, I think it's called.
Is that Gino Wickman's work? EOS? Traction?
EOS, that's right. Yes. Yeah. That's exactly it, yes.
Okay.
That People Analyzer is brilliant because you just list down your values in there, and then you go through that process of just ascertaining your own gut judgment. Do you feel that they're meeting these values? But you also get them to do the same. I think in the EOS they say it's either a plus, a negative or somewhere in between, whereas I actually get them to score, because I find if they score it, if they think there's somewhere in, they'll not necessarily give themselves a 10. They'll pick themselves somewhere in between, and for me that just leads to better questions from my point of view. Whereas if they've just got the 3 options, it's not quite the same. When I say in between, I mean between maybe a 5 and a 10.
Gotcha. So okay, now I
sense?
understand. We understand our values. We understand their values. I still don't see how we have the employee as engaged and as passionate about the business as us. So what's the next step?
Yeah, so obviously you've got to share your passion, your enthusiasm, and put that into the form of a mission statement, a purpose statement. I know a lot of this sounds a little bit almost outdated now, but it's not in my view. I think your business has to have an ultimate cause that people will buy into. During my recruitment process, I spend about 20 minutes talking about the cause of the business and the values more than anything else. Then I finally get onto what the job's about. And I ask people to self-select themselves out if they're not absolutely sold on that. Do you know what I mean? So, and weirdly, we do get people walking out because it's not something that they're enthusiastic about. So I think like I say, the purpose of the business is crucial. And some of our accountants, it's just about helping their clients get their lifestyle back. Helping accountants help their business clients get their lives back.
Yeah.
By going the extra mile, providing the added value services, the business advisory type of services. But getting your team on board with that is just about talking to them, sharing that vision. It doesn't have to be, as I say, in a charismatic, aspirational way, but it's just reminding them, bringing it to them all of the time. So I think you've got discovering your own purpose. You've got to fold that into the business, because that's what the business is centered around. You've got to have the right people whose values match yours. And then I think beyond that, it's setting accountabilities and expectations. I'm a great believer in freeing people to use their own judgment, use their own discretion. And I think as long as their values match and they know what you expect from them, so in terms of accountabilities, and we've been big on this stuff for quite some time, really, because as long as they know what's expected, in other words, we're not telling them how they do this stuff, we're telling them just what the outcomes are. And for me, that's the accountabilities.
So
because
I like that.
Everyone needs clarity on roles.
What about the ongoing engagement? And maybe that's the accountability, but I see that I've set the vision. I've made it clear through a purpose statement or the ultimate cause. I really like that term. I have some accountability mechanisms. Do I need to keep on reminding them of this ultimate vision? Is there some way that I need to keep communicating it, or once that's set in place, it flows naturally?
No, it has to be communicated all of the time. For example, here we run a Monday team meeting, and the start of that, we kind of spin a pen on the floor to decide who's going to run the team meeting, and whoever the pen points at, is the person who runs the team meeting, and they start by basically reciting the purpose. And that's a reminder every single time. Every single person in that business knows what the purpose of the business is. It's a continual reminder.
And how many people, just so I can get a visual, how many people are you talking about, Shane, that are spinning that pen? Is this a handful? Is it a dozen?
Well, we had 43 here.
Wow.
We just had a bit of a reshuffle. So, yeah, a lot of people involved. And
it's a big pen.
But yeah, everybody, the pen. It was good. It worked. It's just as simple as spinning a pen on the floor, and we all used to sit around in a circle. Yeah. Okay. So I say used to, because we've not got 43 here now. We've reduced the team slightly, but even at its peak, this stuff worked.
Okay. Right. So now you have people leading the communication, which I can see gets them more engaged. You have accountability going. You have the purpose. I've heard, actually, in some of the books, or that book you referenced, I've heard it there. Vern Harnish writes a book called Scaling Up, talks about the need to celebrate. Is that important, to celebrate the wins or the progress toward this purpose and vision?
It is, yeah. So Yeah, I kind of alluded to that earlier. So we're always seeking stories from our the members that we work with and the successes that they've had from their clients as well. So yes, we celebrate those wins here absolutely every time. We read out the stories in that team meeting that we've collected because it's inspirational, isn't it? It's incredibly moving when you find out the impact that one of our accountants has had on their clients through the teaching that we've delivered, or the difference that we've made with one of the accountants that we work with as well, because they're business owners, they want to get their lives back, don't they? So yeah, continually celebrating those wins is critical as well. That happens within the team meetings, amongst other things as well. I mean, we have internal team recognition awards. So our team will nominate each other for where they've seen them going over above, or our core values are important here as well. So whenever we've seen somebody living and breathing those values, we praise each other. It's not just the business owner or the managing director giving that praise. It's almost 360 degrees.
Let me give you a challenge. Our listeners own small businesses, accountants and bookkeepers. Maybe they have one employee, maybe they have two, maybe they have 43. But the challenge is, at the end of the day, the owner makes the most money, or at least maybe that's not true, but should be. And do the employees look and say, listen, the owner's taking home all the money. I'm working my butt off for them. There's a form of resentment. I mean, can an employee really perform at the level of an owner, have that much commitment, or will resentment ultimately form over time?
No, I think you've raised a great question there. And what we find is that, yes, the business owner absolutely does or should at least take the most income out of it. And they've taken the risk in the first place. They've started that business and started to build it. Another book I read was The Enthusiastic Employee, which was a very detailed book, lots of research brought into that. And there were three key factors that they put together in that. One is, if you imagine a Venn diagram with the three circles, one is fairness, one is achievement, and one is camaraderie in terms of what's in those three circles. And if a team member is ticking the boxes in all of those three, and obviously each of those three elements can really be opened up and explored, if they're happy in all of those, then they're in a great team environment. The want to move on is very little. Yeah, you will get some people maybe wanting to move on to bigger and better things, but actually, if they're in a great environment, the team culture's spot on, they're being fairly rewarded. Everybody wants to improve their own lifestyle as well, don't they, through the profits of the business. And if they're involved in maybe getting a bonus or just at least being rewarded, but also there's the emotional reward as well in the form of acknowledgement and thanks and appreciation that comes with that. The business owner very rarely gets those things. So yeah, I see that most people out there I don't mean this to sound horrible, but don't necessarily have it in them to move on and grow their own business. From scratch, it's a massive risk, isn't it? And if all of the boxes are being ticked, if you like, then the want to go off and do that is very much reduced. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, of course, but I think people just want to be part of something special.
So, Shane, do you think you can create this mindset in an employee, or is this something that they're born with, or their environment, or they're raised this way?
Well, we don't do anything, we're not trying to influence or manipulate people. I think if their values are very close matched to yours, then there's a good chance that they'll buy into the vision that you've got, the cause that you've got. And that, for me, is the greater good. Obviously not everybody does, but as I say, that in the early days of recruiting people. I mean, we've obviously made wrong recruitment decisions here in the past, and some people are just out for the money, and they're not interested in delivering on the service and going the extra mile and all of that lot, and they just don't stay with us. The people who do go the extra mile because they've really bought into this are the ones that do, and the reason they don't stay with us is because sometimes you have to, as the business owner, make the tough decision and think, right, this person's not right for this business, and make that decision and find the people who are. Building a great team culture is not an overnight success. You can't change they say a leopard can't change its spots. Well, sometimes it's about trying to get an elephant to be a lion, isn't it? They're just not right for the business. They may be great for somebody else's business,
Yeah.
but not necessarily for yours if the values don't match.
Yeah, I was just at an event yesterday before this recording called Entre Leadership. It's a famous guy here in the U.S. called Dave Ramsey, and he goes, thoroughbreds. He goes, you ever watch the Kentucky Derby, famous race here? You ever like to watch the Kentucky Derby? He goes, you'll notice it's only thoroughbreds. He goes, there's no donkeys running there. He goes, thoroughbreds don't like to hang out with donkeys. He goes, nor do donkeys like to hang out with thoroughbreds. What about empowering employees? By doing the system that you're laying out for us, Shane, what I'm sensing is when my colleagues know the purpose of the company, it plays to their passion, it sounds like I can actually delegate more than tasks to them, that I can give them responsibility for making decisions around those tasks. That's just my sense. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Oddly enough, delegation was the next thing I was just going to move on to as well. So that's
Perfect.
great. One thing that we really drill into people during the recruitment process is that we will take people through the initiative ladder. Are you familiar with the initiative ladder? Do you want me to just very quickly go through that?
Yeah,
We have about 2 minutes left before we got to roll, so give us the quick summary.
Okay. Well, I mean, the initiative ladder is ultimately, most people are at the bottom rung, which is they just wait to be told what to do. The next one is that they ask. So in other words, they're bringing problems, not solutions. So we always say, we want you at the next level up, which is where you're bringing solutions, not problems. You're thinking for yourself, you're bringing those forward. And for me, that's incredibly important, again, just to make sure that what their recommendations are going to be in line with what you want. So that's almost a bit of a training process, really, that you're trying to encourage people to think about the types of solutions that you would want your practice to it's a reflection of you, isn't it? The practice at the end of the day. So we encourage people up that initiative ladder. That then goes on to just putting your trust into them going forward. The final two rungs. I'm not going to go too much into the initiative ladder, but you've got to get their thinking more in line with yours in that sense. And of course, the values are there, so it's not going to take too long. Effective delegation then comes in where we've set accountabilities around roles. Effective delegation is about deciding, well, what is the project? What is it that you want to delegate? Who's the right person to do that? And that goes down to qualities. What are the qualities that are required for this? Before you think about the person, think about the role, in other words. That you need to delegate this to. And in fact, look, I'll tell you what, because you've just said there's 2 minutes left. I don't know if you've got any downloadables available with the podcast. Obviously, it's audio, but I'd be happy to maybe either make some of my blogs available or certainly the effective delegation chart and our career development review form as well that we go through as an assessor guide, because these things I find to be incredibly important, especially our career development review form. That's something that we go through every 6 months with every single employee, and it's about taking 90 minutes out one-to-one with an employee and really understanding them, because again, until you really understand somebody, you don't know what really motivates them.
Yeah, so we'll absolutely take that stuff. We'll include in the show notes. And maybe it sounds like we won't get to a sound end on this. I think we're going to have you back because I think we're just scratching the surface. But Shane, for now, where can people find out more about you and maybe reach out to you directly with questions they have?
Yeah, well, my blog site is www.shanelukas, and that's Lucas with a K. So shanelukas, all one word, .co.uk. Now, that's a blog site, so they don't have to give me their email address. There's no kind of exchange of anything. I'm not going to start bombarding people, but they can start looking at my blog site. And that, at the moment, is I'm running a theme on fantastic teams and how to create them. Oh, nice. So, in other words, a lot of the stuff I've been talking about, it goes into much more detail. So that might be a great place for people to go to start reading up on those blogs. And, of course, there are contact details on that site as well. So that's probably a good starting point without running the risk of exchanging an email with me and getting... do you know what I mean?
No,
feeling
I
like
totally do,
on this list.
Yeah, so...
No, that's very generous. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Everyone go to shanelukas.com. We'll have that in the show notes. But pick up his books. What's Next for Accountants? The World's Most Inspiring Accountants, another book that he's co-authored. Hop on Amazon, pick those up, read. It'll move your business forward. Shane, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you, Shane.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me.
All right, Ron. There's a few things we got to do. We got to Oops, I dropped my pen. We got to summarize what we learned from Shane. I have a nice page of notes. How did you do?
I got 2.
Okay, good. We got to do an Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then we got to do a GMAP Now task.
And I also have a special announcement.
Oh, and a special announcement. But first,
Well, why don't I read them off and you tell us a little bit about them?
okay, you got it.
All right. So let's talk about net payroll.
Okay. Net Payroll. What Net Payroll sounds like is, all right, Net Payroll is our payroll company.
Awesome.
They're wonderful.
I got a call the other day from a payroll company.
Oh, did you? They're trying to like, recruit us. Yeah. It's,
That's it.
you know, that's when your business grows, people want to do.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. I'm so happy with net payroll. I was like, listen, give me a call in 3 years.
But sir, we'll do it for free.
Yeah.
Sir, we'll do yeah. Nope.
Nope.
Here, you know why we're so happy? One of the reasons is here's a quick test for you. Last company you did business with, did you buy anything through Amazon or
Yes, and Jeff Bezos gave me his number.
Thanks, jerk. I said, yeah, Jeff Bezos absolutely did not give you his number. Janet does. Janice does. And so does the team at Net Payroll. Janice is the owner. Now, here's the deal. Net Payroll is not like a one-person company. Janice isn't the owner-operator. She is the owner. There's a lot of teams that work here. I think we work with employees that work on the team. I think Laura is our contact. We have our home phone number. And it says, call me if there's ever an issue that you cannot get through. That is the personal touch that you'll have. And so Net Payroll is the best. Check them out. It's netpayroll.net. Don't mess that one up. Netpayroll.net. Okay, who else you got?
All right. Fundbox.
Okay, Fundbox is a cash flow accelerator. You know, if you have those invoices due, I know your clients do, and they're like frustrated that they don't have the cash in the bank. Fundbox will release the funds to them.
And don't forget, Joanna came over to our Mastery meetup.
Yeah.
Oh,
and all the new services they have
and all
coming
the
out.
new services. Great company.
And she bought dinner for us.
Thank you.
I know. Thanks.
Right. And don't forget, Nextiva.
Nextiva voice over IP phone system. NextCon is coming up. You already know about Nextiva. It's a great voice over IP phone system. I definitely recommend it if you want value and quality. But here's the deal. Are you going to NextCon? That is a blowout entrepreneurial event. You should go. Your entrepreneur should go.
Great speakers.
I hope you go to QuickBooks. I hope you go to Scaling New Heights, ZeroCon. But listen, if you really want to expand your business, get out of just the accounting space. Go to where the mecca of entrepreneurs are. It's NextCon.
Oh, wow. All right. Xero.
Xero is cloud accounting software. It's built from the cloud up. It's out of New Zealand. I've been saying it's out of Australia, and the New Zealanders got PO'd with me and said, dude, give it the right attribution. Out of New Zealand. It's probably the most innovative software out there in the space. Highly recommend it.
And let's not forget about Meredith over at Fundera.
Fundera. Don't confuse Fundera with Fundbox. You know those loans that your client's looking to do? Fundera will help in the process of shopping for it, learning about it, mastering it, and then assigning it. Meaning they'll do the whole thing. One-stop shop. You type it on the web. They do the research. They do recommendations. You pick the best choice, and they go ahead. Oh, and guess what? They don't charge you.
Yep, right. And dude, I almost forgot this one, but I don't know how I could. Receipt Bank.
Oh, Receipt Bank. Yeah. Do you want to tell me about that? Because you got big news.
Well, we just had a special webinar with them, and oh my gosh, the workflow enhancements that they're making, the time-saving enhancements for workflow, it's unbelievable. Arda is our contact over there, wonderful lady to work with. So if you reach out to Receipt Bank, ask for Arda, tell them Ron said, hook me up.
Hook up.
You up.
All right, Ron, let's get right into the meat and potatoes here. First, I want to know what you learned from Shane today.
Yeah, well, I learned passion, cause, alignment and values. Communicate the values all the time. Celebrate the wins, but also the vulnerabilities, and the initiative ladder. I love it. I know we're going through this change right now here internally from task management to initiative management. And I really liked how he was.
Initiative management.
Yeah, how he would. You can give me footnote.
Yeah.
Okay. And how you work your way up. And this is where we want you to be. I love it. Love it.
Wow. I'm writing that down. That's going to be in the new book. Thank you. I like that chart. Like, I'm into the visuals where I circled the word you and I drew the line going up from the 12 o'clock. I drew the line going out from the 9 o'clock. And it just gives this kind of sense of your radius and that values play such a significant role. Your purpose plays a significant role. And not everyone's going to align with it.
Right. Here's my chart.
That's probably the funniest thing because I totally did not expect that. I can't even share what he just drew, but That was good. All right, Ron, there's one more thing you got to whip out besides that chart.
No, we're not ready yet. We're not ready.
What?
I want us to talk about a special announcement
okay.
here at Profit First Home Base on August 25th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We're going to be having a special workshop, and this is an improv your business workshop for those that have a tough time breaking out of their shell or with companies that having an external conflict between employees. We're going to show you how using improv, we can break down the walls, create new relationships, and sharpen decision making.
And it's going to be fun.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Hoodie's running it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So that's August 25th, 9 a.m. to 12.
Okay. And if you want to sign up, here's the real simple thing. Christina, that's spelled Kristina. Christina. Write that down. Christina at Profit First Professionals. Say, I want the improv, or I want to come on August 25th. She'll get you access to the event. It's going to be amazing. All right. That chart's coming up again. All right, Ron, let's pull this one out.
I got a great one today, and it happens to be...
And I'm sorry, just for our new listeners, I want to tell you what this is. Psychology of Sale. This is where Ron gives you the insights on how to sell to the psychology, to the behavior of humans. I'm sorry, back to you.
No, absolutely. And this is called the alignment principle. Nice. Basically, when everything lines up, there's no contradictions to cause disagreement. So one of the examples was I was interviewing a possible employee. I actually hired the employee. And when we were walking to the interview, we had to go down a flight of stairs, and there was a gum wrapper there. Mm-hmm. He picked it up. He picked up the gum wrapper and was like, yeah, I just can't stand garbage lying around. Either can I. So we were a little bit in alignment. And so here's the logic of this. External alignment occurs when a person's words and deeds align with the internal drivers of other people. He clearly showed me that he was in line with a little bit of what I was thinking. That simple deed of picking up that wrapper. All right. Now, this typically this is at least involves alignment with common values, such as respecting others and also helping others in distress. So here's what you can do in your accounting practice. You need to align yourself with the prospect or customer. Chances are they are coming to you in distress. They need help. Something isn't going right. So how you can align is to listen. To no mixed messages, and also display values that indicate that you're not selfish and that you have a history of reliability. This will align in their minds, but do not send mixed messages. And also, if you have a history of unreliability, watch out.
Yeah, consistency.
So look to align with the other person.
Nicely done, Ron. Nicely.
You.
Oh my gosh.
He
comes out of nowhere.
This is for you who you don't like it.
Yeah. If you don't like this music, come on. Listen to this. Get pumped up. Just listen closely. Dun, dun, dun. All right. You know what that means? It's time for the GMAP Now task. Now, here's the deal. This is the one task that if you do this, you will see a result. Gosh, if you're the one person... Now, by the way, we have thousands of listeners, right? We have 30,000 we put up on the board. All right, thousands of people listening to the show. There's one person skipping.
We just alienated somebody.
One person. One person.
No, probably more.
But you, who's listening, congratulations. This is the winning moment. You do this one task, you will see results. You will grow your practice. Here it is. Number 101, GMAP, now, task. What is your ultimate cause? That's all you need to do. I want you to investigate. What is your ultimate cause? Now, I'll give you a hint. Ours here is to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. Here's the second part of this thing. First, write down your ultimate cause. What's the impact you're trying to have? Martin Luther King, I believe all men are created equal, right? That was it. All men are created equal. Then I want to know your why. Why? What's your personal story causing that? Ron has his reason, his upbringing, what he experienced. Me, my daughter putting a piggy bank in front of me, trying to save my family from my own financial calamity. Entrepreneurial poverty exists, and Ron, I, and everyone here has a personal story around it. Once you start sharing that personal story, that's the ultimate filter, and you'll find people just like you.
Boom.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Ron, I understand I'm getting texts that we have our in-studio guests waiting outside ready for us.
Oh, all right.
So that means we got to wrap things up for this episode.
All right, everybody, and as always...
Well, I'll wrap it up first, because I want to do the pitch of Profit First Professionals. Okay, and then Ron will tell you.
I'm going to go say hi.
Yeah. No. Well, okay, go say hi. Here's the deal. Here's what you need to do. Ron's got to run out and talk to guests. You need to run to our website. It's profitfirstprofessionals.com. So go to profitfirstprofessionals.com. I got to close the door. Yeah, we're a little bit out of control here. You go to profitfirstprofessionals.com. Then click on the Become button. Yeah, what? Because we're a small business here. Shoot, Ron had to run out and start greeting people outside waiting for us. And we're a small family, but man, we're tight knit. We are moving the throttle. We're moving the gauge on entrepreneurial poverty. We are a collection of accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches who are out there using Profit First to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty, to serve clients. You can do the same, but you got to join us. Why not do an exploratory call? Go to profitfirstprofessionals.com, click on the Become button, fill out the form, and we'll hook up. And we'll have a conversation. And one more thing, please do go to iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you listen to us, Google Play. Please do rate, share, and review. We'd appreciate it very much. And as always, we're here to serve you. Okay, one last thing, my friends. Come back next week. We're literally recording in 10 seconds. You come back in, 7 days and listen in. Because, wow, we're going to be exploring everything, and I mean everything, on how to outsource in the accounting industry. You're in for a real treat. All right, guys, see you next week.